Ayers left, pulls up, looking for the lead, and he got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 111-109. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back to the OKC Topic Thunder podcast. I don't know why I said OKC Topic Thunder podcast. That was weird. Welcome back to the Topic Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Hunsinger at Thunder Chat. We're part of the B-League Network, and this podcast is brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Now that's out of the way, it is just little old me today. There seems to be some inclement weather heading through Oklahoma, so that, in case you guys didn't know, about half of our podcast is in Oklahoma, so they will not be joining us today. It's all good. I hope everybody, if you are listening, watching, posthumously, let's say, retroactively, if you live in Oklahoma or the surrounding areas, I hope you guys are safe. I hope you guys are all good from the weather. And that goes double also for my co-host. So, that is why it is just me. I figured, we're not going to do like a crazy long podcast or anything like that, but I got the chat open. We got a few people popping in here. If you guys, have questions or anything you want to talk about in the chat, feel free to chime in. I'm basically just going to talk about the last couple of games, kind of how I felt about it, kind of look ahead to the next week of games. And, we're going to go ahead and get out of here because I'm pretty tired. It's been a rough week for me. We won't get into that, but yeah, basically that's the plan for today. I am trying to type up the link now so I can tweet it out. So maybe we can get a few more people in here. And we'll get started. So without further ado, whenever we talk about a game, we like to do it to say what we call the single large item. So single large item of the day. It's just me, so I'm not just going to do one single large item for each game, but I like to combine the games whenever we have like a back-to-back or a couple of games that we've missed. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. Right off rip, man, like low-hanging fruit. You can chastise me if you want to for taking the low-hanging fruit. Shout out T in the chat. What's up, my guy? The low-hanging fruit for this game and really last game also, because like if you take the past two games, God, I sound like I'm underwater again. No, T, no. All right, well, hold on. Let me take off my AirPods, see if it sounds better. I always think it doesn't, but hey, we'll see.
Does that sound better? I hope it does. I've got nobody to bounce my sound off of before we start recording. So T, you're my guy. Do I still sound like I'm underwater? I'll give you like 5 seconds to respond. All right. He hasn't said nothing. So hey, no news is good news. That's what I'm hoping. In the chat, if it sounds bad, I do sound like I'm still underwater, or it sounds better. I need more than yes. I don't remember what I asked you. There's a lot going on right now. Yes, bro. Sound better? Sound underwater. Like I need clarity here. I'm losing it. I'm spiraling by myself. Help me, guys. Help me. Good now. Awesome. Good deal. All right. Well, let's get into it. So my single large item. Hey, it's the low-hanging fruit, but I don't care. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Tonight he had 51 points. The night before he had 31 points. Combined 82 points in 2 games, back-to-back. Like, just ridiculous. Obviously, in the Spurs game, he could have had even more points. Sound better without the pods. That's weird. Apple, get your crap together. Shout out DCFNF in the chat, says SGA is the greatest. Oh, and I'm going to shout you out as well, El Sombra Regio 7, also trying to help me out with my sound. But talking about Shai, like he could have had more points in that San Antonio game. Like remember earlier in the year where De'Aaron Fox had, I want to say he had like I think he had like 90 points in 2 days or something like that when he was still on the Kings. Like Shai could have challenged that in these past 2 days because, like I said, game before he had 31 points, but they only got that in 3 quarters. Jalen Williams, actually, we're going to talk about him in a little bit as well. kind of throwback to last year. Like fourth quarter dub was there in a huge way, and he was able to extend the lead against the San Antonio Spurs and keep Shai on the bench, which, with a back-to-back coming up, we didn't know that the Houston Rockets were going to be resting a lot of their guys. Like, that was going to be a big game, and Shai needed to be ready for that. So it was important that he was able to rest the fourth quarter in that game, and it's still awesome that he got the 31 points, but it could have been like Shai could have pushed 100 points in 2 days. Like, that would have been absolutely nuts. But I digress. Talking about tonight, the 51 points. I mean, Shai just came out on a freaking mission, dude. Like, early on, nothing was really working for the Thunder offensively except for Shai. Shai had 20 points in the first quarter. He was shooting 7 of 12, 2 of 3 from 3, only 4 trips to the line for all you people that like to shout free throw merchant. Also had a rebound and 2 assists and a block to boot. That block was nasty. Cam Whitmore went off like early on, like he was getting whatever he wanted, and he got to the rim, and Shai was right there to not only block the shot but collect the rebound. His block and his rebound came on the same possession, and that's just MVP things, man. Like, obviously the scoring is there every night, but the other thing is there's his defense and his effort, and it runs from the top down. And Shai is the leader. He's the head of the snake. He's the top dog on Oklahoma City's food chain. And when you see that guy doing it, it makes the rest of the team want to do it. So, yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing for Shai. Had some really nice playmaking reads also. We talk about those 2 assists in the first quarter. He had one where he got the rebound off of the offensive glass. I don't even think they credited the rebound because he only had one board, but that's besides the point. He got the ball. He fully did like a 360 in the triple threat before he noticed that Chet was matched up with Reed Shepherd underneath the basket, and he just rifled a one-handed pass to Chet right in the hands and, was able to finish it. Like, it's very apparent that his playmaking has taken a jump and a leap this season, and he just continues to grow. The other thing that continues to grow is this man's three-point shooting. And, like, this is the next level. Like, he's always had the craft. He's always had the slipperiness in the lane, if slipperiness is a word. He's developed the mid-range jumper. He developed getting to the line. Like, he's had all these levels as a scorer. And, like, this is the final boss. Like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as a three-point shooter is the final boss. And 5 of 9 three-point shooting tonight. At one point, he was 4 of 5. Those numbers went down as the game went on. He really wanted to hit, like, that big one to give him the 50 burger there at the end. But, yeah, 5 of 9 shooting is still great, still above 50% from the three-point line. And I tweeted it out. Let me pull up the stat here because I went through and I hand counted the numbers here. Where is it at? Here we go. So, since the start of February, Shai is shooting 44.7% from 3 on 6 attempts per game. And, like, that's crazy, man. Like, that development, like, the league should be terrified because this is already one of the best scorers on the planet with him having, like, a wishy-washy three-point shot. That three-point shot, if it starts to develop, like, he's just unguardable, man. He was already unguardable, but, like, you just go, like the shirt says, just go home because there's no guarding him. So, yeah, I can't say enough about Shai. He was absolutely nuts. On the offensive end and defensive end, and glad he's the leader. Glad he's the MVP candidate, front runner, as he should be. So, moving on to the next part of the single large item, and we got to talk about Jalen Williams, man. We talk about Shai having combined 82 points in the past 2 games. Well, what about Jalen Williams having a combined 65 points in the last 2 games? Which, based on the scoring that we've seen from Dub, and like the inconsistencies in that regard, like that's huge. I'm burying the lead if I like jump right into the Rockets game. It was the Spurs game that really stood out for Jalen Williams. Obviously, he had his career high in the 41 points, dropped his first 40 burger. As I said earlier, kept Shai on the bench in the fourth quarter, able to allow him to get the rest. And yeah, in the fourth quarter yesterday, Jalen Williams had 17 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists. 6 of 8 from the field, hit a 3, and had 4 free throws. Now, these free throws were not just 2 trips to the line where he shot 2 free throws. I think he had 1 of those. He had 2 of, like, some of the most improbable and ones that I've seen J-Dub hit. And I mean, just very impressive. It was really cool to see him turn back the clock to the player that we saw last year and that we hoped came into this year. And, like, he's still an all-star. Like, he's still like an all-NBA defender at this point, but he just hasn't been able to replicate, kind of what we was thinking we was going to see from him, coming into the season. But as Shai's three-point shooting is coming along, as guys like Case and Wallace is coming along, like, as the season goes on, guys are stepping up in different ways and, kind of getting closer to the expectations that we have for them. And Dub is a huge example of that, last night and tonight. If you look at his reel, like on the Reel app, it has like quarter breakdown and it has like a ratings bar. Like his literally just like escalates from first quarter to fourth quarter. It's crazy. So in the fourth quarter, he had 9 points on 3-6 shooting, 1-1 from the 3-point line, 2-2 from the stripe, had 2 rebounds, 3 assists. And again, man, like almost got to the point where he was able to keep Shai off the bench as well. But the Rockets just had a magnet ball like crazy tonight. Shout out to my boy Reed Shepherd, Kentucky's own. Just absolutely putting on a show out there. I tried to tell you guys all the draft season, Reed was him. Nobody want to listen to me. Everybody want to say he's because of Kentucky boy. Like, nah, man, he's him. Like, I'm telling you, he's got some skill. Cam Whitmore had some good shot making. Some dude, McVay, which is absolutely the plumber that people are talking about when you say, Michael Jordan played against plumbers. Like that guy is the epitome of him. Came in and knocked down a couple threes late instead of Jalen Green playing. So, the Rockets were able to basically shoot their way, into making this game in the fourth quarter. The final score was a lot closer than what the game actually was. But yeah, Jalen Williams was phenomenal. He was awesome. It's great to see both Shai and Jalen Williams, our best offensive players, really starting to, obviously Shai's been there, but starting to vibe off each other, like really starting to, find their groove offensively together. And it's not so much his turn, my turn. It's, they're working together. They're weaving their offense, together basically. So, and going into the Memphis Grizzlies game coming up, again, that's going to be on national television on Wednesday. Like, that's going to be a huge game. Can't wait to see what happens with, both of those guys thriving. So, the next thing I had to talk about, my iPad battery is dying slowly. It's at 4% right now. So this is just going to be a race to try to finish it. Once it gets to 1%, I'm going to have to end it, or I don't really know what's going to happen. So I guess we'll find out together. So rapid fire. Chet Holmgren missed San Antonio Spurs game yesterday, but was able to return against the Houston Rockets, which is a awesome sign. If you saw what happened to him in the Hawks game, where he rolled the ankle, he was able to play. Adrenaline could take you so far, but whenever he went off the bench, like, you could tell he was extremely discomfortable. I don't think that's the word. He was extremely uncomfortable. I apologize. So, he was like holding his ankle and everything. He didn't return in the game, and then they rolled him out pretty quickly for the Spurs game. So a lot of Thunder fans thought that he might miss a little bit of time. So it was encouraging to see him come out against the Rockets tonight. Didn't really have it going offensively. 4 of 11 shooting, 0 of 3 from deep. But defensively, still had 5 stocks, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Had 11 rebounds as well. And I think he's fine. He had some plays where he was able to obviously finish over the top of a smaller defender. He had some other plays where he, created the advantage off the drive and just wasn't able to finish or got blocked at the rim. But he also had some plays where he connected with iHeart on the lob, and vice versa. iHeart was able to connect with him on the lob. So it's fun to see both of them, the double big lineup start to work together a little bit more offensively. Offensively, as I read in the last podcast, like by the numbers, like offensively is not the problem, it's defensively. And kind of evidence tonight, like the Rockets coming back late, a lot of that was because we was running the double big lineup, and defensively we just can't get out there to guard the 3-point line like we could if we had another defender out there like Case Wallace, Alex Caruso, and so on and so forth. So, still some kinks to work out the double big lineup, and maybe Chet still needs to get like to 100% with his ankle as well before he can defend at a high level, in terms of like contesting the 3-point shot. But overall, like, not impressed, encouraged by Chet being able to come out there and still produce despite maybe not being 100%, and I'm very glad that he is not missing another extended amount of time. All right, next up, I want to talk about Case Wallace. So Casey Wallace had 14, 5, 4, and 3 steals tonight. 2 of 5 from 3. That's 40% for those of you guys counting at home. And then if you look at the Spurs game, he also had a really good game. 19 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, in which he shot 7 of 14, 4 of 8 from 3. And it really feels like Kaysen is starting to come on post All-Star break. And, I kind of alluded to this, guys like finding their groove, as the season goes on. Shai's three-point shooting, Dove scoring. It feels like Kaysen is, in spite of his role, because he's coming off the bench. He's starting, in place of Chet Holmgren whenever he's out. Obviously, he's got a bigger role now because Isaiah Joe's still out with his injury. But Casey Wallace is starting to find his groove, not just in the offense, just out there. And it feels like he's putting together a lot of complete performances. Was a plus 21 against San Antonio Spurs as well, in addition to, all the other stats. And if you look against the Rockets, he was a plus 6, which, doesn't sound like a lot, but if you look at the box score plus minus, I want to say it was one of the highest on the team. Yeah, so he was like right there with Chet, Ihart, Dort, and Shai in the plus minus, the only guys that were positive. And Jalen Williams was like by far the highest with plus 13 tonight. But yeah, very impressive what I'm seeing from Case Wallace. He did get beat by Reed a couple times. We had some Kentucky on Kentucky Wildcat on Wildcat crime in terms of the Reed versus Case matchup. But overall, man, like he's still putting it up. Like he's still putting it on. He had some really good defensive possessions against Cam Whitmore on the perimeter. It's just Cam Whitmore's a tank, man. So once he got down low, he just kind of put a shoulder in Kaysen and he moved him. So I'm not too worried about Kaysen defensively, because he's not going to be guarding those types of guys a lot of the time. But, he will get stronger as his NBA career goes on. And, he'll be able to, kind of withstand those bumps as well. Moving on, let's go to Lou Dort, who was the silencer tonight. I don't remember. So he had 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists against the Spurs. Obviously, he got ejected there. What was it? Early in the third quarter. No, it was late in the third quarter. I apologize. He got ejected late in the third quarter due to the scuffle heard around the world. Still don't really know what happened there. Don't know what happened between Kenrich Williams and Julius Champagnie, getting in their argument. But oh God, I'm at 1%, so I'm. All right, we'll switch to the phone here. So if you guys are still here, I made a quick switch. We're good. We're good. Yeah, but Lou Dort's starting to come along post All-Star break, and tonight he was actually the one that kind of put the game to bed with a couple threes late. And like these weren't just wide open catch and shoot threes. This was just like Lou Dort, like absolutely feeling himself. He got the ball, and I mean the defender was right in his grill, and Lou Dort rose right over top of him and nailed the three back to back times, and then hit one more dagger like late, like the very last shot. And yeah, man, Lou Dort was on fire tonight. Love seeing the passion, the leadership, against the Spurs. We talked about what happened with the the scuffle, the Kenrich Williams. There we go. The Kenrich Williams and Julian Champagnie scuffle there at half court. Still don't really know what happened, what was said, why they got teed up, why they got tossed. Like, apparently, I mean, they had to have said something crazy within earshot of the referee in order to get tossed. But whenever the rest of the team kind of saw what happened, Dort was one of the first people that was in there for the Thunder. And then, Soham got a little bit too close, and Dort was, he's the enforcer, man. Like, he was protecting his team. He was looking out for his team. So, yeah, I appreciate Lou Dort, and he's a guy that's gonna be important, come playoff time. Obviously, we've seen what he can do as a perimeter defender, as a guy that can guard the best players, the other team's best player, but also his shot making in big games continues to be one of the best things about Lou Dort, in spite of it, or besides his defense. They don't call him Big Lou for no reason, and yeah, he showed out again tonight. I wouldn't say this was a huge game, considering the rest of the people on the Rockets that didn't get to play. But hey, showing up in big moments. Hey, we'll shift it to big moment, Lou. How about that? So yeah, shout out to Lou Dort, as Jerry would say. Hope you're doing well. Also, shout out to Jerry Stevens, San Francisco 49 fan. San Francisco 49er fan. I don't know if anybody else is a Niner fan of the chat, but George Kittle was actually at the game tonight, sitting courtside. He was wearing Thunder Blue, but it was a Bud Light shirt. So he wasn't necessarily there to support the team. Looked like he knew somebody that was a Thunder fan, and that's why he was there. But hey, nonetheless, cool to see, celebrities, high profile people come to watch the Thunder. Always enjoyable to see. So yeah, shout out George Kittle. I didn't win my fantasy championship this year, but number one tight end. Appreciate you for all your work, and yeah, appreciate that. Let's see here. iHeart put in a solid performance tonight. He didn't have a double double or anything like that. That was to be expected with Chet coming back. He doesn't really put up double double type numbers whenever Chet's in the lineup, but still had a really solid game. Had more assists than he had rebounds today, which was, I don't know, it was weird. I wouldn't say it was impressive, but it was weird. Obviously the passing's there. Like, he's had some phenomenal passes. Obviously he's got the ones in the short roll. Right there in the mid post, passing to the cutter, off the give and go or off the DHO. But he also had a few passes. He had one where he rebounded the ball and literally just like rifle, like two-hand passed it backwards to Shai. And, Shai hit the 3-point shot, man. And like, it's kind of insane, like how good of a passer he is. And, obviously, we talked about him connecting. Yeah, like iHeart's crazy. He was great to see, and then obviously also defensively had one steal, one block. Only shot 4 times, but hey, he made. I want to say I'm gonna look here because I think. Okay, yeah. So 4 of his 8 points were in the first quarter. 3 of his shots were in the first quarter. I thought a lot of those were early on. So um, kind of got him involved early on, and it kind of faded away as the game went on. But the Rockets were really small tonight. And, Jock Landale was like their only true big. They had guys like in Dante and I think Nathan Williams, play also, but they're more like forward size. So Hartenstein didn't have as much run as he would, but hey, still played good in his minutes. And then real quickly, it's my phone's close to dying as well. But real quickly, I just want to give a shout out to Aaron Wiggins. Continue to say basketball. 8.7 rebounds. Kendrick Williams, he doesn't say basketball, but man, like, I swear, whenever we have a game where we're down or where we're not playing up to our standard, whenever Kendrick Williams comes in, he just kind of settles things down. Had 7.7 rebounds, 2 assists tonight. 1 of 1 from the 3-point line. And typical games this season in terms of games that could have gotten away if not for him team. So always got love for Kenny Hustle. We're gonna go ahead and look forward to the next couple of games here. Just as we continue to look forward to the schedule. We pod again on Friday, so I won't go past Friday. I'm gonna kind of look at what games are up next. I know we play the Grizzlies next, and I want to see what other games we got coming up. And of course, my phone, I want to ask it to do something. And yep, Pinwheel. Cool. All right, so we play the Grizzlies on Wednesday. As I said, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 Central. For most of you guys, in the Midwest and Oklahoma and everything, that will be a huge game. Now that will be in Memphis again. The last time we played Memphis, we blew the doors off of them, and we weren't even fully healthy, and they were. Jaren Jackson Jr. went out with an injury tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if he's going to play. Yeah, I mean, I look forward to this game. And anytime we play the Grizzlies, it's a fun game just because these are like two extremely deep rosters, two like young rosters with like similar build in terms of like their stars. Obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. being out would kind of let some of the wind out of the sails. But yeah, very, very much looking forward to this game. And I'm just going to go ahead and predict the Thunder W because, I mean, hey, why would we not predict a Thunder W at this point? And then we played the NBA juggernaut Portland Trailblazers on Friday in Oklahoma City. Listen, like it sounds like a joke, but I think I saw a tweet that said since the beginning of the new year, the Portland Trailblazers I think they've lost 5 games since the start of January, and they have a top 5 net rating in the NBA, which is just absolutely nuts, absolutely bonkers. Because going into the season, this is a team that was identified that everybody's like, okay, they're probably going to tank. They're going to try to get Cooper Flag, to bring into this like young nucleus of players, and nobody blamed them. Everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's probably a good idea. That's great team building. And Chauncey Billups like, nah, like we're gonna try to win some games here down the stretch. And at this point, they've won some games that they really shouldn't. Beat the Sixers tonight. That wasn't really to be unexpected. I picked that game. Leads out for the season now, and the Sixers just been a mess in general. Took the Cavs to overtime on Sunday. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell, sure, but like that's still a really good team, really deep team. Put Darius Garland through absolute hell, but Ty Jerome was able to carry them out of that. And then before that, they reaped off 4 straight against the Nets, Wizards, Jazz, Hornets. Again, nobody right home. Only lost by 8 to the Lakers, only lost by 11 to the Nuggets, and they were absolutely destroyed. And before that, they had a 6-game win streak, beating the Kings, the Pacers, the Suns twice, the Magic, and the Bucks. They lost to the Thunder, of course. That's who they're playing on Friday. And then before that, they had another 4-game win streak against the Hornets, Magic, Heat, Bulls. So, like, all I'm saying is, like, I don't expect us to lose to the Blazers. In fact, I predict that we win the Blazers. But like this isn't a team just to like roll over and play dead. Like I would say the Portland Trailblazers are a better team than the G League Rockets that we just played. With Reed Shepherd and Cam Whitmore, kind of being the driving force behind that. But yeah, as T said in the chat here, Portland is getting serious. The Northwest Division is going to be a headache for a while. Yeah, I mean, with Portland improving, obviously you got Denver, obviously you got Minnesota and Utah. Man, Utah's another scrappy team that doesn't go away. They've got a lot of young pieces, a lot of fun young pieces. Now Sexton's back. Larry Markkinen, I think he missed tonight, but I mean, you got Collier, you got Keontae George, you got Taylor Hendricks, who hasn't played in a little bit. You got John Collins, who was just like a walking 20 points at this point. You got Walker Kessler. Like, you got so many good players on that roster that it's not they don't have like a super high ceiling, but they have a solid floor, and they can beat any team on any night just because they have solid guys at every position. And of course they got Danny Ainge, they got draft compensations. Like they have avenues to make that team better. So yeah, between Utah, Portland, Minnesota, and Denver and OKC, West Division in the Western Conference is one to be reckoned with. That is for sure. But yeah, I'm predicting a 2-0 record against the Grizzlies on Wednesday, Blazers on Friday. Back again on Friday. Talking about the Blazers game, kind of looking ahead to the season, maybe playing some games. Who knows? We'll just kind of see what happens. We're kind of going with the flow here. But yeah, man, that's gonna be the pod tonight. Again, sorry it's a short one. It's just me. I hate when it's just me. Like I got started podcasting, just doing solo podcasts, but like I have my own I have my own format. I have my own like kind of schedule for it and everything. So like now when I do Top of Thunder podcasts and I'm going solo, it just kind of feels like I'm ranting a little bit. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that you have been listening to Thunder Chats. Ho! So I do a solo pod. That's just a callback to my podcast that I got started doing. So and also that's what my Twitter is. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Thunder Chats. Follow us on Twitter at OKC Top of Thunder. There you can pick up your tickets for the Top of Thunder fan event. I looked at the countdown today. It says 15 days away until I fly to OKC. I can't wait, man. It's going to be so much fun. So if you guys haven't got your tickets yet for some reason, they are going to be available, I think, for like a week and a half more. So go get your tickets at OKC Top of Thunder. Click on that link. They are $16 for upper level. That gets you admission into the game against the Charlotte Hornets. You're going to see a generational basketball team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. After the game, we're going to go down to the court, take group photos, take little photos with your friends, your family, whoever is there, whatever. Then we're going to line up. We're going to take a half-court shot on the Oklahoma City Thunder basketball court. And, after, if you make that shot, then you get a basketball signed by the entire Oklahoma City Thunder basketball team. And I'm going to tell you, I want that basketball. I'm going to be gunning for that basketball. I'm going to be practicing half-court shots. So bring your freaking A game. In order to bring your A game, you have to buy a ticket. So bring yourself to that game. So buy a ticket on the link at OKC Top Thunder. I hope everybody has a great night. God bless. Shout out to you. Thank you for being a loyal listener and that guy. And I appreciate that. I hope your week also looks up. I hope all your all's weeks look up. I hope everybody stays safe in the storm and the tornado, all the weather that is happening in Oklahoma and kind of the Central America. Gosh, I was thinking like Northwest, but that's like Pacific Northwest. Sorry. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Hope everybody stays safe. Have a great night. God bless. Hooping you can. And as always, Thunder up.